recording.
Awesome. Okay. So welcome everyone to the Ecosystem and Governance Working Group. On our agenda for discussion is the observations from IIW. But first, Eric has a meeting item that he wants on the agenda. Eric?
Right. Yeah. So just for all the participants here who are very familiar with the work of Trust over IP over the last 5 years, if you could just give me the highlights, something that we want to make sure that we note during the symposium, because this is in some ways a celebration of what we've accomplished. So if you could, we can just go around the room and you tell me what you think the highlights are, some things that we definitely don't want to miss. Let's try that. I've got some things which I won't give you just to make sure that I don't influence you. So start with you, Carly, perhaps.
Okay. Highlight for me has been the speaker series talks that we've run in this working group. I think it's a great outreach. And other highlights are the outputs from the working groups, like technical outputs from like technical stack working group and and so on. Great work of Carrie, the trust banning protocol, the trust registry protocol, the meta model, and the introduction of governance coupled with technology for trust.
Okay. Next. Anybody?
You're gonna have to pick someone.
I think
Carla.
Pick me.
so. I think the evolution of the organization over the time, evidenced by bringing together of the governance and this working group, together, ecosystem foundry and governance, deciding to become part of become a project in LFDT. The dedication of the Carrie Suite working group, taking it out of the technical stack working group, so that it could have more dedicated focus on the specifications and those protocols.
Excellent. Thank you.
I'll jump in there too. I second Carla's opinion. I think what's interesting about this group, maybe after seeing some others, is that there is an evolution. You could see where we went from the triad to going towards Carrie and involving, again, the governance so much more than it was before, because it seemed to be, on a visual, it seemed to be very kind of equal. But I think being an open source project, a lot of focus has always been on the technology. So it's nice that we've actually been able to coin a Canadian phrase, elbows up the governance into being more upfront. And again, seeing how we didn't stick necessarily with the Aries approach, Hyperledger, and that we are evolving, which I think makes us more relevant than saying, no, we're sticking to our guns. We've been doing this for 6-7 years. We're going to do it for the next 6-7 years, like it or not. So I think that's a plus for the group.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, just to build on that, I think one thing that strikes me is I remember, 3-4 years ago in IIW, everybody, hey, we've got executable governance. No, it's a configuration file. Just because you've got parameters around governance stuffed in your code does not mean that you've covered off the organizational governance, right? So certainly when I'm hearing back from John Phillips, who's on the UN Committee on Trust Registries, looking at supply chain, until you've got, human or governance, government and society trust, which is built on the human aspects of what needs to be happening, such as, you need a human auditor to come in and look at stuff. It's not enough to claim you've got that. So I think it's, it's the human side of governance that needs to play. Otherwise, people, I don't care how good your technology talks about, but if you're I mean,
Mm.
cryptocurrencies is a great one, right? Oh, we got blockchain, nothing can happen. Well, all the failures and fraud has been through lack of human governance.
Mm. Agreed. Okay, got those notes. Thank you. Scott or Lynn, any ideas?
Yeah, perhaps I could just turn
Yeah.
on my sound here. Pop in. I'd like to thank everybody for letting me sit in on this. It's my first time, and I'm not a technical person, but I'm very much interested in the governance side of the equation. I think it's
Mhm.
more challenging perhaps than the technical.
Mhm.
I come from the perspective of having a couple of use cases that are prominent now, and I very much look forward to the session coming up next month, and hopefully in future I'll be able to contribute more to your sessions. But again,
Mm.
thanks very much.
Well, thanks for showing up.
Yes, well, 99%, someone once said.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we need
Cheers.
more. Thank you. Thanks, Lynn. Scott Perry.
Oh, so what was the prompt? I'm sorry about that. Do you?
The highlight, something that we want, if at least the 30 minutes that I'm sort of leading or presenting is a celebration in some ways of what we've accomplished over the past 5 years. And so I want highlights, like what would be the
Yeah.
highlights that we want
Well,
to communicate.
so, I think one thing that I think is important to lay out is we had a vision a long time before the world is recognizing it. And I think that needs to be identified. We were identifying governance methodologies and the trust over IP stack like really early. And we've actually had to wait for the world to kind of catch up. And
Mhm.
so, and now I think what's important is we're starting to see the fruits of all the labor that has started at the beginning, but the idea is starting to come through. So
Mhm.
we're seeing governance frameworks being built based on our toolkit, where we are filling out products and methodologies within the technology stack. And so we laid out the foundation early, and we haven't really had to change that too much. I mean, obviously we've had to alter it, because of new technologies and new things, but the basic framework that we've established at the beginning of trust over IP hasn't been changed. And so I think we need to kind of promote the visionary side that we had, and and promise that we'll be still the visionary that people can come to for where things, how things will all play out when it's all finished out, because we are starting to see implementations, of our technology as part of what we're doing at this showcase. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, great. Yeah, that's it. That's very great comments, and that's very helpful. And I've noted all of these things. So we do want to be, note out the specific carry, trust spanning protocol, TRQP, meta model, the some very specific things, because we will also be showing those in sessions and focusing on them. So definitely highlight those. But all these other things about, one of the things I noted is a a very welcoming community. I have found that our community, our group, our Trust Over IP is just very welcoming, and anybody can pop in and feel welcomed. And I think that's something that I want to communicate as well. But the visionaries and aspect, et cetera, and the fact that we are evolving, and all those other comments helped very much. So thank you.
Yeah, very nice. I agree about the welcoming, and also I think maybe another thing to emphasize is that it's not just for people who are technology focused. Like many times to participate in Linux Foundation projects, for example, you feel like you need to know how to code, but because of the governance stack as well, then like the human and AI working group, there are other places where the discussions are very accessible to
Mhm.
other expertise,
Yep, like this working group.
like this working group. Yeah. I mean, we had a presentation from an ecologist about what an ecosystem was.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and if you haven't seen it, it's a recording in one of our channels somewhere. That was fun. Okay, so then the last part of our meeting would be, I would be interested to hear from people who were at IIW, and then alternatively people who read stories and posts from people who were at IIW about what kinds of things were brought up at that meeting that were new, that were old, that might have an influence here, or anything really for IIW. First, Carla, I'm assuming you were there.
I was, yes. So one of the overarching themes was the state endorsed digital identity. The initiative that Utah is undertaking, both for citizen and for organizational identity. So several sessions, um, including sessions in order to be able to demonstrate the kinds of applications of digital identity in order to be able to allow citizens and organizations to do certain things. And from a carry community perspective, again, we're seeing more and more usages of the protocols going forward. Not specifically only VLEI, but extension of those usages to other kinds of ACDCs as well. So those kinds of things, they stood out to me.
Excellent. Anyone else? Was anyone else there? No. Did I just see a post? I saw a post on LinkedIn or something like that, that the next MDL specification will not have a phone home clause. Oh, Carly, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I keep on it's storming here, so my Wi-Fi is unstable, so I've been keeping everything closed. So yes, we got started to get clarity on that actually in September at Identity starting at Identity Week America. So it's the tracking mechanism that one of the two schema in the original MDL or the original it's the original standard which describes an MDoc, and the MDoc actually is used specifically for a mobile driver's license. So that's actually something that more people need to be able to understand. And so Utah especially came out against the ability to track people who have mobile driver's licenses. And I understand that from the presentations that the next thing is to be able to take the current version of the specification and leave the non-tracking schema in that, and then to have a separate part of the standard in order to be able to put forward the other alternative schema, because this is an international standard and obviously there are other jurisdictions that want to be able to enable this feature, like China and Hong Kong, for example. But that this led to a decision within the United States not to have any U.S. driver's licenses issued with this feature.
Okay. Good. Was there a lot of discussion about AI and like Stephen posted in there, and certainly because there was a whole other day
It was a
around.
whole session, but I didn't
Oh,
attend that, so I can't
okay.
report out on that. I went home on
I
Friday.
think it was a day after
Yeah.
they had the first agentic identity um,
Right,
conference, the day after, right?
right. Presumably, if they had done it mixed in with the meeting, it might have dominated. Since it's
I'm
such
sure
a.
they had sessions, didn't they? But this one was completely, I think, dedicated to agentic.
Mhm.
I'm sure Wang Jing attended. I know Drummond did, but he's not here. But Wang Jing did, so I imagine we'll hear from him in the next hour.
Mm.
From the discussions I've seen out of the various AI groups, I would say there's probably a chance there's going to be a AI agent week sometime in the near future.
Mhm. I just saw, just saw this thing here, remote labor index, but I can't post it on our new Discord because they want me to verify something. And um, are you guys getting that? That you have to verify yourself to access the LFDT?
No,
Oh,
what's
maybe
that? What do you?
No.
maybe it was because where was I? They said please verify yourself. And I could get access to the messages, and now I can. Maybe it was because I was in a different country. Okay, sorry about that.
Is anyone else having Discord issues? Not yet. I have it didn't work and now it does work. I had YubiKey for two-factor, and if you use that, it now works.
Okay.
Or if you just share it in the chat, then Eric, I can share it in the things.
Sure, what? Oh no, oh sorry,
Or
yeah,
you've
there's just
managed it, you've gotten on there.
Yeah, I see it in
yeah.
this.
I don't want to get us off track because this is not the AI working group, but you just made me think about it. But yes, AI and agents are we probably do need another full week. So I'll post it, but we don't need to go into it.
Are there any other so Scott gave me an introduction to somebody for speakers for this session for next year, because we're going to be building up the speaker series again. If anyone else has any other contacts to share for another speaker session, we're starting to book for January. Just there's always a call. So if you meet someone and they're interesting and you're like, oh, I'd like, even if you don't have a strong relationship, maybe you want to hear more about them, we can always do an invitation to speak in our speaker series.
Carly, would someone like Evan Solomon here in Canada be a potential speaker?
I don't know who that is. So
He's the new minister for innovation and technology. And, they're leading what do they call it? The major projects office here in Canada with the new government. And there's obviously oil and gas and minerals, but the other major projects are focused on AI and digital sovereignty, cloud
okay.
sovereignty.
Yeah.
So, these are all somewhat related issues, and he's sort of speaks from a federal government perspective.
Yeah, we're probably small potatoes for him, but maybe there's somebody in his office or something like that that would be interesting. The
Yeah.
cloud sovereignty, yeah, Eric?
I was going to say it's a good idea because it is a very hot topic in Europe
Yes.
with the Euro stack
With
and
the cloud legislation from the States where remember for France, they were questioning Microsoft about if their because if the United States compel Microsoft, even though the data is French data hosted on French located servers, because of the Cloud Act, now that Microsoft is a business that has significant holdings in the United States, that they could subpoena information about France from Microsoft hosted servers. So that's the big push behind digital sovereignty.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Lynn, if you're. Well, I mean, the narrative in in Europe it stems from the Draghi report, who is a former European commissioner, president or something, and it really had to do with competitiveness.
Okay.
And saying that Europe is falling behind. Europe can't compete with these big tech giants, and we've fallen behind. And so how do we do that? How do we catch up and extract ourselves from these big tech giants? And so part of the response is, we have to build we have to build some of our own things. And so the discussion with sovereignty now is more about, well, we're not going to completely decouple. It doesn't mean to wall yourself off, but it means to make better decisions about, what you control, who has access, what kind of options you have, what are the dependencies, and just sort of rebalance the ecosystem. And so yeah, the example that you gave about, even though it's on French soil and it's French servers, because it's an American company with whatever. So try to figure out those threads and say we need to look at this and make it more balanced.
Yeah. I was going to touch a little bit on that in my presentation for the symposium that I'm working on about research infrastructure. So, Lynn, if you have any connections or if you want to make an introduction.
No, I
Okay.
don't, not directly, but it's worth a try, and I was thinking perhaps through Imagine Canada or Canadian Institute for Digital Resilience or some of these other groups that have put forward proposals and directions.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Any other comments from anyone or anything else you'd like to discuss? So we will meet in 2 weeks, which should be right before the symposium. The symposium is in 3 weeks. So looking forward to seeing everyone in 2 weeks for finalizing up anything. Thank you very much, everyone.
So Carly, did I send you the contact for Realize for the presentation? Or?
No, no. If you know someone and want to do an email introduction, that would be great. And then
Do you or Eric? Who
Eric
does
is great at this thing for.
Okay, I'll send it to both of you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you so much. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Goodbye.